Is your relationship worth saving? You might be a candidate for date night with Coach. Hey, look, man, I really appreciate you guys coming through. Just to kind of give you some background on what we're doing. We've been doing this couples therapy for going on 2 years now, and so we took it from just working with couples, and we realized like we got to do something creative. Mm-hmm. People don't really like to kind of just sit around and talk and put their business out there. So we came up with the concept of date night, really to kind of get couples together, be able to deal with some stuff, have a good time, and then go away with some, go away with something that's sustainable that can help, foster positivity in your relationship. And so from that, we piloted it with 2 couples, and then we grew them to 9 couples. So we got a retreat coming up, and we decided to take this format and do a podcast to bring couples on and have an opportunity to kind of have a conversation, talk about some of the strategies, some of the things that we kind of work with couples with, but also get some wisdom and some insight from the couples that we bring on, and to let people know that marriage is great, it's not perfect. And that, people who have positive, long-lasting relationships go through some of the same things that they do. So I really appreciate you guys coming through.
Thanks for the invitation.
And so I want to kind of start off, the way we started our initial date night pilot, we started off with concept. We talked about how it started, right? So my first question for you guys is it's simple. How did y'all meet?
He stalked me.
So
Please tell the truth. He stalked me.
I thought we was here on,
Honesty?
yeah, honest.
Well, be honest, please.
Literally, we just talked about this yesterday.
Yup.
Okay,
What I was doing.
so real
You
talk.
can give me his story.
No,
I'll
I'm
give
gonna
you the
give you a
truth.
real story.
Please do.
I'm gonna give you a real story. Because this is therapy. This is therapeutic.
Go ahead.
So, so you remember I used to work at Big and Tall in East Point, back when we was at Dunbar. So I met her. So it was East Point Mall, and we met in around March '97. So a couple months after we graduated.
Mm-hmm.
Realistically, she was supposed to be the girl of the month. I was on the street. So she was supposed to be the girl of the month. And she worked at Great Cookie. So Big and Tall is right beside, or was right beside where Great Cookie was. So and I'm just being honest.
Mm-hmm.
So before she started working there, her coworker, like, all right, well, I tried my hand, not necessarily tried my hand, but I was gonna try my hand with a coworker. I didn't like how she responded. So at this time, I was very confident in myself. So when I spoke to a coworker, she kind of gave me, "How you doing?" That month. And maybe a week or 2 later, that's when I saw there was a new girl that worked at Great Cookie. Like, well, let me see what's going on. So I approached her, and was Sam Goody that same day, or was it?
It was that same. No. Sam Goody was like a few days after.
Okay.
But that same week.
So this is why she said I'm a stalker, because back in the day, Sam Goody, remember the tape store?
Mm-hmm.
So she was in Sam Goody. So
what happened before Sam Goody? Right. Why I say you're a stalker? Every time I turn around, you were standing. Nope, you were standing in your doorway.
Oh yeah.
Up the store, watching me.
No, I was watching.
He was watching me every time I looked up. He was watching me, and I'm looking like something wrong with that. But he crazy. So when he started coming to the store, I was like, "Oh, here, baby," because he looked so young. I said, "Oh Lord, I'm not going to jail." Okay, so I started giving him little mini black bottoms. I started giving him milk and all this free stuff.
She ain't going to jail, but she hit me up for free food.
He cute, he cute. He working. Okay, I give him a little snack. That I said, oh God, it's like feeding a cat. You feed stray cat, they don't leave. They're coming back. So every time I'm looking up, I said, okay, the black bottoms. Okay, so I'm giving it to him, but I didn't know that he was interested in me. And every time I was having a conversation with the idiot that I was working with, the one he was talking about, I look up and he's interrupting our conversation. I said, you know what, he wants some attention. Let me talk to him next time we come back. So I would speak, I would, say little things, just little stuff. And then one day I was like, I'm gonna take my break early. I see him on the other side. I said, oh, he wanna fight. I know he not following me. But I was very on guard. So I said, let me duck and Sam Goody. So I'm listening to the music, I'm grooving, dancing, and I feel this hard tap, boom, 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 on my shoulder.
It was a
I'm
method
like,
to that.
huh?
I'll get to that in a second.
Anyway, so I turn around, ready to approach and fight whoever touched me, him smiling.
And then you realize he was cute.
I did. I was like, my exact thoughts were, this little boy is bold. Like, okay, what? And then he did the little wannabe suave thing. My name's Shaun, so and so and so. And I looked, saw his handwriting. I was like, oh,
Handwriting wasn't mine.
it wasn't his. I'm real big on penmanship. That's just, the thing. And I said, okay, whatever. Went home, threw the number inside the dresser drawer. And I don't know what happened. I think I took a break or something. And then I called him, and then we went out. This was March 28th is when I called him. And then we went out on our first date.
So can I add? When I saw her in the tape store, I hadn't got the number yet. Now at that time, because like I said, I was very confident in myself. I will always give out my number, because then if you're interested, you won't call me, because I'm not gonna. Anyway, I'm not gonna, chase it.
Which you did.
But the reason, so I was actually going to McDonald's, and then because McDonald's was at the other end of East Point, and Sam Goody was right there, so I didn't even see you until Sam Goody.
But you followed me, but you didn't say it.
No, see that it's supposed to be a joyous occasion.
A lot of times you about to fail.
So when I saw her, no, because I'd already
See? Tripping over your words. What are you doing?
okay, maybe I did see.
I know you did.
Because my homegirl, who ended up being our maid of honor, my homegirl worked in Big and Tall with me, and she was always talking about how bad my handwriting was. So I had all this planned out. I'm like, I look, write my number down because I'm about to give it to Shorty right there.
Oh, that's smooth.
So I'd already had it in my pocket. I wasn't following you, but I was gonna give it to you that day. So it just worked out. So when I saw her inside Sam Goody, I did tap her shoulder hard because I wanted to get a true reaction. Because
I was ready to fight.
Because anybody that's kind of shocked like that, they're gonna turn around like what? But then when she saw it was me, I wanted to see what kind of reaction she was on, and I
smiled and chuckled a bit.
Immediately, she did a complete 180. She turned around, face screwed up when she saw me. She said, "How you doing?" Like, yep.
That's a lie. Oh, he lied. He lied. I didn't say anything.
Got him.
I said absolutely nothing. Oh, he lied. I turned around like, and he like, my name's Shaun. This on. I'm looking like, what?
That is hilarious.
This little boy. He is
So when did you
something
find
else.
out that handwriting wasn't you?
Oh my gosh! I found out after
When he signed the marriage
after he
certificate.
was writing something. I was like,
After GTD.
wait a minute.
It ain't mine then.
It didn't.
That's hilarious.
Oh, I'm gonna choke you right now.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
But no, he was and still is a stalker. But
Wow.
I love
Well,
it.
that's his job now.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah,
That's his
yeah.
job now.
You do a good job, man.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
So that in a nutshell, little variations and
Yeah.
but that's how we met.
Awesome. Awesome. That's
Yeah,
what's
but
up,
he's
man.
been my knight in shining armor every day since. You know what I mean? We have our ups and downs, but that's mine right there.
That's what's up. So, okay, you mentioned your first date, so that was the next question.
So we saw Anaconda. He knew that I was petrified of snakes. And he took me to see Anaconda.
No.
Wow.
That's
So,
And he got
so,
butter all over his coat.
so it sounded like he knew you were scared, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he had to make sure that
Yeah.
you would trust that he would protect you, right? Even
Yeah.
against the snake. That's
Oh, okay.
yo, that's what's up, dog. That's smart, man. That's see? Yeah.
get a little close action. Or you scared? Oh, mom.
The bony self. He was so bony. He
I was like-
had
I was
no
like
shoulders,
140 coming
nothing. He
out of
was
high
like that small, soaking wet. Oh, he was so skinny.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't remember, did we go out to eat or did we just go to movies?
We went to eat too. Was it Fridays? I think it was Fridays.
Man, that was a
We
good
loved
day.
Fridays. We did. And speaking of,
So
he
they
thought I
got
was
rid
gonna
of
be,
Jack Daniels.
hello, girl, those,
Yeah, they got rid of that.
those wings and those ribs, I was so mad now.
They got rid of that, yeah.
Speaking
I
of,
ain't
that was
going
our
back.
first, was that, did he, it was Fridays, wasn't it? And, it was Fridays, he thought I was gonna eat a salad. No ma'am, no ma'am, I did not grow up like that. I grew up eating and cooking. My father cooked, my stepfather
Mm,
cooked,
get
my
to
mother
it.
baked. So, yeah, I ate.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all.
Did y'all split the check?
Oh, no, he paid.
No, the first one, the movie.
The movie.
The movie she went, the movie we
Yeah.
went Dutch.
Yeah, we did.
I
The movie we did.
winner.
The first day we
She ain't-
did.
She ain't paid for anything since then.
You don't allow me to,
That's not the point.
but you don't allow me to. He won't take anything from me.
No, we
Nothing.
did go Dutch that first day.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
because
cool.
my father taught me that I can sustain myself,
That's what's up.
you know, and I never depended on anybody to do anything for me, not even my mom or something. Mm-mm.
Okay, cool.
But he got me now.
So he got you now. So how did it happen? When did it become official?
But in terms of,
Of y'all like, look, this is it, this is us, we locked in.
Truthfully, that first date, it was like, I don't know, it was just something, don't play. It was just something, it was just something about, I was like, okay, he cool. And we just, it's hard to explain, we just grew from there. Like, he never stopped coming to my house. We tried to break up with each other, oh my God, so many times.
so,
But it didn't work.
so,
Because you break up in the morning and by the afternoon, we in each other's faces, so
Wow.
it didn't work out.
so it wasn't necessarily like a light bulb, like on this particular day or this particular time with this thought. It's just something that evolved over
Yeah.
time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, initially for me, she stood out because, you know, we always had fun.
Yeah.
And at the time when I was younger, you know, you had other young women that were kind of like sticks in the mud,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a lot of fun with her. And then just like she said, over the time, you know, you just realize, hey, come back around, have more fun. We were on the phone, you know, till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, just to turn around to
sweet.
pick her up 9 o'clock
Yeah.
the next morning, and none of that was
Break
planned.
dawn.
Yeah,
You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's what's up.
so and then we had our first boy. We had our first boy early, so we started March, April '97. By New Year's Eve that same year, that's when she told me she was pregnant.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so then it kind of shifted from, you know, from my perspective, it shifted from I really enjoyed being around her, I really enjoy her company, to now I gotta take care of her, I have to protect her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do the baby mother thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't want her on the bus. So no. So now, can we do this?
You can say what you want to say,
Okay,
bro.
like,
I was being controlled.
No.
That's what I'm sort of been
See,
quiet.
she ain't got started yet, so don't intro.
Oh,
like
my mouth is terrible in sailor, honey.
it then turned into like a sense of responsibility.
Right.
That I didn't want her on the bus. I didn't want to share time with my son. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't grow up with my father in the house. You know, we have a great relationship, but those times where those little moments that I needed guidance from my father, he wasn't there.
Right.
You know, so all of that kind of ran through my mind when you told me that she was pregnant with
Right,
Desmond.
right.
So it went from I really like Shorty. You know, we have all this. I like her more than anybody else. To
Mhm.
now, I have a responsibility to take care of her.
Mhm.
That's what's up, man. That's funny, man.
And not only that, oh, I'm sorry.
Nah, you got it.
And not only that, before we had our son together, I had a 3-year-old, a newly 3-year-old. And he stepped up and did everything times 20, you know, for that boy. And he's never said your son and my son or separated our kids. We don't do that. You know, there is no step there. Because if you can't accept him, then you can't accept me. And I didn't have to say anything because he accepted me, right away. And he said, okay, well, I got a son. So he was raising him before, it doesn't even came about.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's funny though. I saw your reaction when she said, when it became official. That's this one. She told me I was her man before I knew it. Like,
Same here.
They say speaking into existence.
She a bully, so
And I did.
Right. Yeah, so you're a bully too.
Yep, I called him and told him, I said, we go together now.
Right.
He said,
huh? We all
that
grown.
was it.
After.
I'll punch you in your face.
But it's the truth.
I will punch you in your face.
This is therapeutic.
But I will punch you in your face.
So after the first time, I got to.
No, first of all, once you hold my hand, we together.
Well, I didn't read that. I didn't read that.
Nope.
So after the first time we hooked up, I get a message on my beeper.
Back in the day. Back in the day.
I get a message on my beeper talking about, oh yeah, we go together now. I'm like, shit. Well, I mean, I'm cool.
But he was
with
already,
it,
but he was already coming to my house anyway.
Yeah.
Like
but the decision was already made for me.
Yeah.
I'm
it
like,
was.
Okay.
It was.
Okay. Since you said it like that.
It was.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what
First relationship in 2 years. Yep, we go together now. You hug me, we together.
Right.
We married.
You bet your eyes.
Okay. Yup. You can wink at me. Oh, we together now. Come here.
Man,
Sit on my lap.
look, that's awesome, man. That's crazy. Sit on your
Because
lap.
you talking about something. I'm supposed to be the girl of the day.
He said,
After
Mom.
that, I'm going to
I
girl
said
now.
mom.
So that's we go together.
I'm supposed to be the girl of the month. I ain't had a relationship, no boyfriend before him 2 years. He was just supposed to be the guy. That's it and bye-bye. That's all, but here you go.
But put it down. So,
But you look at the clock, though. How long y'all been, y'all been going strong.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
25 and a half years.
That's
He get on
what's
my
up, man.
nerves.
That is awesome. That's his job, though.
Yeah.
That's his job.
Yeah.
That's his job.
25 and a half years, get on my nerves. Lord, yeah.
Next
I'm
one.
gonna smother you.
So look, all right. So as a part of our date night with Coach, our couple sessions, and even our couples therapy, so we got a couple core concepts that we really focus on. So the first one, and the reason why we do this is because in relationships you're gonna deal with some crap, right? It's always gonna be something. Again, like I said, marriage is beautiful, relationships are beautiful. It's work. And so to prepare yourself and to be able to deal with the things that come, you gotta have certain skills, right? You gotta have certain understanding. So the first one is effective communication.
Oh, goodness.
And so what we usually do is we have all our couples take it's funny, we did it with our kids. I used to do it with in regular therapy with kids and their parents and stuff like that. And I was like, you know what, this is great. I need to do this with my family. And I procrastinated. It wasn't until we started date night and we did it with a couple, with our group. And it was probably last year. I've been doing this for probably that particular activity for probably 6 years. And we just did it last year. I was procrastinating. And I think, I got teenagers. Each one of the girls that got to like 14, I probably grew 22 more gray hairs. So, I used to be struggling. And so like, when we decided to do it, it was like, it was such an epiphany for us. Like, we did the assessment. We realized how we communicate. We had an understanding really for us why we butt heads sometimes, because our communication styles are similar. And so like, we have our couples do it and we talk about that. So I just wanted to kind of hear from you guys, like when you talk about communication, how does that manifest with you guys in your relationship?
You want to go or you want me?
And I'll email y'all the assessment so y'all can do it and get it right if it's an issue.
So the funny thing
we
is,
just do it.
the funny thing is that so much of our communication issues help me with work. Now, in my position at work, I'm a deputy director, so I supervise 15 people. So that's 15 personalities, 15 different communication styles, 15 different experiences and backgrounds, all of that. And it's very easy for me to see how people bump heads. But that's why it's so frustrating that we still bump heads over the stupidest shit.
Yeah.
You don't understand.
And it, you know, and it comes down to just communication,
It
because
does.
we can be oil and water. It's not saying that one is right or one is wrong. We're just different, and that's fine.
Right.
But when you're in the heat of it, did you drink this? No, I didn't drink it. Well, what you mean I didn't drink it? And things just
Right.
snowball.
So I'm gonna let you. I got I gotta put you out there later. I'm gonna let her tell you though. So when we talk about communication and conflict, that's the next thing. But my lovely wife here, right? So because we kind of have a similar communication style, and it's one where we are, I'm gonna say opinionated. You know what I mean?
Yes,
And when we feel strongly about something, we want to get our point across, and we're real intent on making sure we're heard, right? and so because of that, right? Sometimes we butt heads most of the time, right? And what happens is, you know, I'm gonna let you tell it. What did you do to make sure that
I don't know.
I'm gonna tell it. So basically, and when she told me this, I was like, my baby loves me, right? So, you know, we butt heads a lot.
Right.
And what she said she did was, you know how you got the notes and stuff on and stuff. If she gets upset with me about something, I gotta keep telling her, because this is groundbreaking. She puts a note in her phone about what she's mad about, and then she'll look back at it, and if she feel like it's stupid, she won't say anything to me about it. I'm like, yes.
I haven't done it lately though.
But when she told it, and actually she shared this.
With dates.
Oh, you do the same thing? Oh, that's.
I got books. I got like 4 books.
I just
He
know.
pissed me off.
And I write poems too.
Oh my god.
Fuck him. I just know that if I see, and last night I needed something to write on. And she gave me a folder, and she said, "Don't look in." I was like, I made that mistake.
I said, if you
made
look
that
in it, your
about
feelings
12
gonna
years
be
ago.
hurt. Don't
I
do that.
don't look into any books, any folders, because that's her way of getting it out.
Yeah.
And whatever she's feeling at that time, she may not be feeling right now.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, but I still keep them though.
One other thing
They
that
remind you.
Yeah. Or what he did on that day.
One other thing that I really want us to do, because I implement it at work. So much of my job is about mediation, you know, and a lot of times when people have very similar ways of communicating, that's
Yeah,
you know, like
absolutely.
y'all saying the same thing.
Yep.
So something as simple as, and then you heard me say this, you know, to my staff. Say 2 statements and then take a pause.
I don't like pausing.
That's the
I
hard
don't.
part.
I
I don't like 2 statements.
Me neither.
What if I got 5?
That's necessary though, man.
know.
It's very necessary.
Because then both parties can hear, process.
Yeah.
But because I'm a slow communicator, I talk slow. This is probably the fastest I've ever talked. I'm a slow communicator. I'm a slow processor. She's fast. I'm a slow cooker. She's a
Real
microwave.
fast. I am.
You know, so
No,
that's
the red
why.
line, honey. I speak fast. I do. Try to get it out.
Okay. So.
When you talk about me,
So that's why we bumped heads, because we have totally different ways.
Yeah.
Like you guys have similar ways of communicating, we have totally different ways of communicating.
Yeah.
So basically you damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Depends. Yeah.
Well, you know,
And so here's the beauty of it, right? So we talk about communication, and damned if you do, damned if you don't, based on my beautiful wife here. The next phase of our core concepts is conflict resolution. Positive conflict resolution.
Positive conflict. Now that's something that we still struggle with. Now,
Cool.
it
I got something. I'm gonna send y'all that too.
It depends on the topic.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because in real talk, certain topics have not been resolved. No matter, there's no time limit on it.
Yeah.
Because if it hasn't been resolved, you just roll over time.
Right.
So in that regard, it's very hard for us to kind of, because they haven't been addressed.
Yep.
Now, if we're talking about other things that, you know, you say tomato, I say tomato, that's something that recently we have been able to do. Like, okay, you said A, B, and C. The way that you said A, B, and C, I perceived it or I interpreted it this way. And then again, with that pause, oh no, I didn't mean it that way. That's not my intention. Oh shit. Well, cool, because I took it this way.
Right.
So
That's cool.
that's conflict resolution at the
Absolutely.
purest form.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
it's just complicated when if both of us feel very passionate about something, and
That's when it get hard.
that's when it gets hard.
That's when it get hard.
Okay, there is no resolution.
Right.
And
But
so,
to just be quiet and
Right.
leave me alone.
and so that's a part of it.
Yeah.
But it
And
gotta
bring
be,
me
but
food.
it gotta be bring you food.
Yep. He know when I'm mad,
Feed you.
Yep.
See,
And then we can talk about it later.
Then we can talk about it.
And something that you just mentioned about things not being resolved, I have a little phrase, it's probably not mine, but you can't bury something that's not dead.
Exactly.
And so when you have unresolved issues, they're gonna keep coming back up.
Yep.
You know, you might be mad about him leaving the toilet seat up. You don't say nothing about it. And then
Right.
something else happened. Y'all talking about somebody not washing dishes, but you left the toilet seat up last week. It's gonna
Yep.
always come back up if it's not
That's
addressed.
perfect.
Right.
You know what I
We
mean?
used to do that a lot. We used to
Yeah.
do that so
He
much.
left the toilet seat up.
yeah,
Like we used to just, you know, allows the small things to just kick up so bad,
Yeah.
you know, and then it would just explode. Like if he was like 2 minutes late on something or didn't address me a certain way or didn't just do something, it's like, you know what, I'm gonna kill you right now because you forgot A, B, and C, and then it would snowball. But I had to stop doing that. I had to learn to listen to my voice and listen to, you know, the way that I was speaking, because I don't want to take the negativity that's, you know, negative feeling that I'm feeling and put it on him because
Right.
it's not his fault. You know, we're talking about this, but here I go bringing the issue from that up. I'm not going to do that anymore, you know, and for me, I came a long way, I'm going to be honest. I used to be very angry. I used to be so quick to just jump and fuss and just, you know, react. But once I started working on myself and giving myself that, you know, that love and that understanding and that talk.
Right.
I talk to myself all the time. I tell everyone, you're the only person with you 24/7, 365. Speak
That's
life,
true.
love, and positivity into yourself. You know, because if you don't love yourself,
That's
you
right.
can't love nobody else.
That's real.
You know, so I had to start loving myself more so that I could, you know, learn to love him where he is, not where he was, not where all the bullshit happened, not where all the foolishness happened, but where he is right now, because he's not that person anymore. I'm not that person anymore. We are here. We're us, you know? So I had to drop a lot of mental anger that I was holding on to. You know, that actually had nothing to do with him. It had a lot to do with my childhood. And I would, you know, that would just manifest because he would say a word and it would trigger me,
I like that word.
you know? And once that started to happen, it was like, you know what, okay, so you see me like this person, I won't name, who used to down me when I was, you know, younger and growing up. So I'm going to treat you as such. You know, I'm going to put that wall up.
Right. And so it's interesting that, so you mentioned the word trigger. So probably for the last 7 weeks or so, the couples that we've been working with, that's been what we've been working with, dealing with and kind of managing your triggers. So I found a, you know, like a toolkit basically
Okay.
that helps you navigate triggers. And it's interesting that it's geared towards, you talked about work, so it's funny. So it's geared towards professionals or leaders, right, in the workplace. But the concepts transcend relationship and everything. And it's and mentioning that, you know, one of the people and a couple of the people that do our date night groups say, you know, we use these strategies, things that y'all work on, we use this stuff not just in our relationship, we use it in our friendships, we use it at work. So those things really kind of, you saying that, it really brings it to light that, you know, you may be upset with him about something that don't have absolutely nothing to do with him, and that's a big part of it.
Right.
So one of the things that we dealt with in our first session of date night back in September, we talked about communication, but we talked about barriers to communication, right?
Okay.
And so one of the barriers that we really focused on was like insecurities, right? And those
Okay.
insecurities that come from, you know, the past, so things that come up with triggers, or how you may get upset because he may say something that triggers an insecurity or something that kind of gets you frustrated or gets you upset, and it inhibits you getting the message that he was trying to give you. You know what I mean? So that's huge, and that's really insightful. That's really insightful. So the conflict resolution and the communication are our first two core concepts. The third one is.
I'm gonna write this stuff now.
Don't worry, I got you, bro.
Yeah.
The third one is, you know how, it's funny, I heard Deion Sanders, Coach Prime said recently, they always say, what's your why, right? People say that, what's your why? As a coach, you know, we used to tell our kids, like, if I tell you to do it this way, ask me why. Because when you understand why you're doing it, then you'll own it, right?
Yeah.
So we were saying, what's your why? But we kind of, that concept kind of evolved to considering and evolving with your why. And so the reason why it turned into that is because the reason why we got married, not going to necessarily be the reason that we stay together. And so as she changes, as I change, as things in our relationship change, as things in our family change, we got to evolve with that and consider it. And then sometimes we may have to redefine it, right? So that why is key.
Yeah.
So I want to hear about your why.
Well, for me, and the funny thing is, certain lessons. It depends on the like a glass. If you're looking at half full or half empty. Certain lessons we learned the hard way. So if you look at the lesson in a half glass empty perspective, like damn, we went through so much shit. Half glass full, we made it through so much
Absolutely.
shit.
Amen.
So what you just mentioned, that's why I kind of like smirked, because during our dark times, we didn't evolve together. So we gave you the whole history about the beginning. And then how we immediately went from kids that were fucking around to now we're trying this family thing. So we didn't start off with a strong foundation of, okay, this is who I am as an individual, this is who you are as an individual, and this is who we are together as a couple. We didn't start off like that.
It's funny. So you had, what I'm hearing is, and it's something that our date night crew, we're going to talk about this at our next meeting next week, and actually I might have to invite y'all.
Yes, do. Please do.
3 things. The business of marriage, the emotional and the covenant piece of marriage, and then marriage, the team concept of marriage. What you talking about is y'all didn't deal with the business of it.
And I'm smiling because that we, for years, oh man, cause I'm about to say some shit now.
All right, go ahead.
Preach up.
Take a sip. Right. I'm gonna take one with you.
All right, so I'm glad that you broke it down like that, because I do a lot of reflection. I got an hour and 15-minute drive to work, you know. So the older I get, the less I turn the music on. I just be in my own thoughts, and I like problem solving. So one of the biggest problems is us in terms of friction, communication, things like that. And one thing that I reflected on was, over the years, we had different mentalities, or we looking at the same thing from different vantage points. We wanted to be together for years, but we didn't understand the full picture of marriage.
What it took, right?
And because it's so easy for me to explain this, because I took that mentality of, oh, you're pregnant back in 1997. Oh, you're pregnant. Now it's my responsibility to take care of you. Oh shit, how I'm gonna do that when I'm going to school full time? I had an ego back then. You're not gonna, you already know, you're not gonna take any wake, because I saw it as a handout. I don't want anybody to think that I can't take care of my responsibility. So I'm working 2 or 3 jobs while I was at Morgan. But what that did was I adopted a business mentality when it came to marriage. Because I started a relationship off in a business aspect. But what that did was that caused me to look at her in a negative light. Because when we first started off, and I'm not gonna go into details, but she has health conditions. She has a chronic health condition. I'll just leave it at that.
It's okay, scleroderma. It's
Okay.
fine. I'm not the only one with it.
Scleroderma,
Fibromyalgia,
and
I'm
a few other
epileptic.
things. So overall, before she was
I'm not ashamed.
diagnosed, it was hard for her to keep work, keep a job. But because of the upbringing, all I saw was, man, you lashing out, you cussing people out, you getting fired from this, getting fired from that. I'm trying to hold everything down in terms of these bills. I'm trying to buy this milk. I'm trying to pay this rent. I'm trying to do everything, and we're supposed to be doing this shit together. But you can't hold up your end of the bargain. So automatically, I start, and I didn't even realize it, I start communicating to her in a very negative and condescending way. Because I'm holding everything down. What the fuck you doing? You know? Because in the grand scheme of things, at 19, 20 years old, I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't know how to deal with the stress and strain of life. And so what was the best thing to do, or what was the easiest thing to do? Lash out to the person that's closest to me.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, so for years, I'm looking at it from a business standpoint of, this is what we need to make it work. This is what we need to contribute to our future. Yo, what the fuck are you doing? She's looking at it from an emotional standpoint of, I need the emotional support from you. I need the consolement from you. I need the hugs and kisses from you, and I wasn't giving it to her.
Right, because, not cut you off, but the thing that he was looking at was, okay, no matter what's going on, this still, has to be done. And I'm sitting here like, okay, it has to be done, but honey, I'm in the hospital. I'm having these surgeries. I'm having, this breakdown of my body. I'm having this breakdown. I can't go to work because, A, B, and C is going on. My kidneys are shutting down. I have to get this, all these different operations. I have to be sedated for this and sedated for that. And it's like, okay, where are you? My best friend is there, but you're not there, And instead of the consolement, it was the anger of him still doing everything, the anger of him, still doing his job along with my job, as a mom. And of course, we're two different people and we parent differently. He can't do what I do. He's not mommy. That's daddy. You ain't mommy. You can't do what I do. You can't cook a meal and then change diaper and then do the clothes and then mind the kids and then make sure they don't touch this, make sure they don't touch that, and go and run this errand and go and run that errand. No, you're here, but you're not here. You know what I'm saying? And when I'm going through all the things that are killing my insides, I don't know if I'm gonna live or die, but all you can think about is paying this bill, or all you can think about is, work here or whatever, and it's like, okay, so excuse my expression, but fuck it, I got me. That's when I developed that I got me mentality, which made me hard inside. And I joke with him, and I always say now that I'm one of the realest ends that but it's jokingly, but I'm serious. I'm really hard, because hard is all I known to be. All I had to be, because you weren't there. I had to hold me up. I had to dig myself out of this chronic illness. I had to dig myself out of this hole. And when I became buried, my mental started to go. And I don't play about that, but it started to go. It got to a point where, I'm being honest, I didn't want to be here. I did not. I plotted on so many ways to take myself out, and to not have to burden him, or not to be the terrible parent to my children, which in my mind, I felt like I was. But all the love that I was getting from my kids, all the, hugs and the attention and everything I was getting from them, I'm like, no, I'm not a bad mother. So I started to cover myself. And I started to build a brick, bricks and ice and all that, around my heart, around my feelings, around my just every expression, It was like, fuck vulnerability. I'm not gonna be vulnerable anymore because you're not taking care of that side anyway. So I gotta take care of it. My children taking care of it. You're not doing it, so I'm good over here. So I stopped talking to him. That was a big mistake. We stopped communicating like we were supposed to, and it just started to go downhill and downhill and downhill and downhill. But then we caught ourselves, because he started to peer in at times, and I'm like, okay, do we care? I was confused because I was like, okay, we never did this before, so what are you doing? Wait, I don't want this. What are you doing? Why are you trying to be affectionate? I don't want this. We didn't do this. We don't do this. What's going on? But then I had to realize, like, okay, he's no longer that person. You gotta open up. You gotta allow yourself to be vulnerable. But I was still afraid because I was like, when I was vulnerable before, I was dropped. So hitting that floor so many times, you start to catch yourself. And I was catching myself before I even had to, and then it was like he became foreign to me because I said in my mind that I was going to be a mother, and that's it. I wasn't thinking about being a wife, but not really a wife that was open, if that makes sense, because you weren't catering to that side. You weren't dealing with that side. You weren't tapping into that part of me. You were more concerned with everything else, not me. So that's what I told myself, and that's what I adapted. So when we did, talk and realized that, hey, we're saying the same thing, but just in a different way, then let me understand you more. And that's when I said, okay, I do love myself, but do I love him? Of course, no question. Am I still in love with him? Yes, of course, no question. But there are certain things that I'm not going to tolerate anymore, and certain things that I'm not going to do with him anymore. I'm very big on energy, and I'm not going to bring him down. I'm just here to love you. We are helping one another heal at this moment, Like, I've hurt you, you hurt me. All right, fuck it, so what? That's past tense. That's not right now. That's not our present. It's damn sure not going to dictate our future, because I know he loves me, but we short in different ways. His is buying me everything and giving me everything and just financial. But make no mistake about it, he got my back. You know what I'm saying? Like, he not gonna let anybody disrespect me, hurt me, harm me, none of that. And he got me, and I'm confident in that. I don't have to worry about that. But I had to show him that I'm the same way, I'm getting emotional, because I've always been that way about him. And nothing but that will stop me from loving this man. Nothing but that will stop me from having his back. Nothing will stop me from ever seeing him as the king that he is and that he's always been. No matter what we went through, I had to understand, and my grandmother told me years ago when he was still young and driving me crazy, you gotta let him be. He love you, but you gotta let him be. You gotta let him grow. He's young. And I'm like, okay, I'm 3 years older than him. I'm 47. And I was like, well, I'm already here. She said, well, he not. Let him get there. And if you love him, let him get there.
That's why I got an old man.
Baby.
He is already there.
Okay. I was like, oh my God. He was trusting me out. I was like, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to cut his first lines.
Date night with divorce court. What the hell?
Child, I was
What games you playing, bro?
and everything. I was like, I'm going to kill this boy one day.
No.
Do he not know?
No, but it's real because, one, like I said, everything, it was
What's
a
that?
mixture. It was,
Got a burp.
oh Lord. It
Oh,
was,
just a burp, that's all.
it was partly of, okay, well, we catapulted into this adulthood.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then I went from, like I said, at Big and Tall, making $4.50 an hour, but that was my $4.50 an hour,
Yeah.
to, oh shit, I got not one but two little ones I gotta take care of and find a way. And I had a huge ego. But what I, hindsight being 20/20, what I realized I was doing, and I did this for years, I don't want to show any weakness.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to show that I was stressed. I don't want to show that I didn't know if we were gonna make it. If I didn't know how we were gonna put food on the table.
Yeah, that's
You know what I'm saying? So if I didn't want to, because that's my job. If she can sleep peacefully and have all the stress and strain on me, I did my job. That's how I was raised. But what happened, unfortunately, was I adopted a toxic mentality by taking that on. I had a supervisor and said, because over the years, her health turned for the worse around 2006, 2007-ish. And then it just went downhill for years.
Yeah.
I can't even count how many emergency room visits, how many operations or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Close
I had a
calls.
supervisor that said, why are you working? Now, in the back of my mind, even if I didn't understand it then, that was my way of processing. You know, because I couldn't say, I don't know what else to do. I couldn't even admit that. And let alone look at my kids and it's like, I don't know why mommy's in the hospital again. Or I don't know what's going on. So I adopted this whole demeanor. I got it. You know, she's always called me 1950s man. You know.
I said 1920s.
Oh, my bad.
I said 1950s. 1950s is a stretch. That been a little bit better, but
I
1920.
adopted that mentality so I wouldn't show any weakness.
Yes.
I was in the emergency room, waiting room on conference calls at work. But what I did that was so fucked up and I didn't realize it was, like I said, I deflected all of that anxiety, all of that fear, all that uncertainty it came out to like, man, what the fuck is wrong with you now?
Yeah.
Because then
Yeah.
every time I
It
turn
was.
around, it's something different. And like I said, this was before the diagnosis. So all we know is the pain. All we know is all
Yes.
of
To get
the
diagnosed.
symptoms, but we
Yes.
never knew the cause.
They call me
So-
crazy, everything, honey.
So that was my
Thank
way
you.
of processing.
Yeah.
You know, and it wasn't until a couple of years I'm like, what? Okay, this part of this equation, this is what I did, and this is how I showed it, and this is the impact of me demonstrating in this way. I was able to process it, but then the communication issues. Then I'm like, okay, whenever we would try to talk about it, because you can't bury what's not dead. All the other stuff
Come back up. Absolutely.
snowball into, all right, we're talking about this, but all this other, I'm like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
what the fuck we talking about now? You know?
You're right.
So it was just a snowball of it was a perfect storm of all these different issues that we brought on, mainly me, brought on ourselves. But the positive part is that we made it through.
Yeah.
And now at 44, I can say, yeah, I did a lot. I held it down at 19, 20 years old, but at what cost?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I can now say, yeah, because life is full of stress. You all have stresses,
Yeah.
but I can deal with I can deal with
Oh,
my stress
yeah.
a lot better because I went through that and I
Yes.
learned from my mistakes.
Yeah.
But I made them, and there were long-term effects of the mistakes I made.
There you get started. Go ahead.
You good. Go ahead.
He don't talk much. I let him talk.
When he do, right?
Okay.
So I've always said, don't give something power, right?
You better believe it.
And you can acknowledge certain I don't want to say insecurities. No, that's not the right word. You can acknowledge that there are certain sensitive areas. There will always be sensitive areas, But if you give it a label of a trigger, then you have removed power from yourself to respond to that sensitive area, and then you say, well, that's out of my control because it's a trigger.
And so you make a built-in excuse for your reaction to something, right?
Excuse me.
Yeah.
That's the point.
That's
the point.
And that's why
That's why I'm telling you. That's the trigger.
Yeah.
this one, right? This one. So moving right along, right? Moving right along, the antagonist over here. Right. So really, listen, this was a great talk, guys. I'm gonna kind of bring it all to a close with this final kind of point or kind of thought. You know, you hear a lot of stuff on social media, different topics, different things. What are your thoughts on like roles in the relationship, and kind of how does that manifest with you guys?
I'll say, well, when I was growing up, I learned that the man was the head of the family. You know, the woman is the body, and the children, you know, the family, we make for the arm and legs. We don't move without one another, you know, so once he says something in stone, that's it. You know, he the man, I let him have the reins, and I do. Oh my God, okay, he talking about my spoilers and all, we not talking
Hour
about
and a half
that.
later, now you gonna start bullshitting?
Oh my God. So I don't tell you, I don't say this, tell the truth, do I not?
It's not what you say, it's what you do.
He's talking about when he started nagging. And I don't like to be nagged. He called me a chihuahua. He said, "You so small." I'm 4'10". I got these shoes on. I'm lying to y'all. I'm not this tall. I'm 4'10", and I don't like the. I do got that short complex. I do. But this one, he does this. He pushed my buttons, and I'm like, bruh, you know, I'm trying. I'm not being this way anymore. I'm this, I'm that. But you gotta bring it out, don't you?
Right.
And then that's when I start talking shit at him. But come on now.
So in terms
do
of,
I not listen to what you say? Yes, I do. I
have been
have
listening
worked
more.
on it. Okay, well, but I'm
but that's all relative, because if you didn't listen to shit and now you listen to half,
well,
that's, you know,
Progress though.
progress.
thank you.
You gotta take what you can get.
Right,
'Cause,
right.
Yeah, you gotta take what you can get.
Oh, I listen.
I'm a killer.
I don't listen without having something to say. I'm gonna do
That's
it,
me.
but I do have something
I
to
do.
say.
Thank you. Come on now.
Wait.
That's me. Like I say,
We
he's
gonna do
1920s.
it. But you wanna hear my mouth?
Hello,
Oh my
1920s.
God,
Like I say, he
man.
just don't want to hear what I gotta say. He
Yo,
want to say,
this
"K,"
He wanna-
because I said so. And
Yes, sir. Yes,
just
sir.
don't do it.
Yes, sir.
Girl, you know what I?
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
it's so funny she said that because you know what I did to him. I was like, "Through yes, sir."
She messing with your military.
Right.
So you messing
When
with
he
your
starts,
military.
I sure do. I be like, "Okay, sir." He be like, "What I tell you about that?" I be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Would you like to eat,
Right.
sir?" You know, I'm gonna
Exactly.
throw that sir right up in there so he can
Oh
know.
my goodness.
So in terms of roles, that was the question,
Yeah,
right?
it was.
So in terms of roles, we morphed into our roles.
Cool.
All right?
Really.
And
Took a while.
because she is the nurturer, she is the caregiver.
Oh, and I'm rough around the edges. You can tell the truth.
Yeah,
Nah,
I'm the business part of it, because
I
again,
don't listen.
those are the roles that we started our relationship with. You know, we can look at some old Polaroids right now, and you will always see me in the background with a calculator and a notebook,
Oh my God,
trying
yes.
to figure some shit out.
Balancing them books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all in the farm, you like, how much this shit gonna cost?
You just do it on the phone now. Let me bring this spreadsheet out.
Please don't.
Like,
Please don't do
yes.
that. Oh my
You
God.
want balanced books? I don't even want you to see what I spent to the end of the weekend.
That's me. That's me, girl. I be like,
January
he be like, "Hey, what
expenses.
you buy?" I be like, nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
How
February
much it cost?
expenses, March expenses, April expenses.
Put that away, please.
I'm trying to make a point.
No, because if you click
It's
on
not
any
financial
one of them,
literacy.
no, what you need to do is click on one of them notes and just scroll up and show them all the stuff that you calculated and everything that he put. Oh my God. Oh,
So-
that's why I
so-
love him so much, because I like to buy shoes. I told you that. I like to buy shoes. I love shoes.
I like to buy everything.
Oh, me too. See, I wasn't gonna say that, but I got this compartment in the back of my truck. And it's big too. I'm gonna put some.
So
He
that's
say,
how. So the
"When you
way
buy
that we
that? Oh, I've
kind
been here,
of
that
fell
I
into
did."
the roles is because we because through the mistakes that we made,
Mm.
you know. So like I said, when we
I still
first got our first place together down Char Hill, that was the only place that we could afford. Neither
Yeah.
one of us from Char Hill, you know.
Not at
So, but as soon as they said it was what, $40 rent, whatever it was at the
Honestly,
time.
it was low, then I was like
Yeah, we were still late on that.
$32. No, it started out 12. That was $12 at first. It started out $12.
We were still,
Yeah,
we almost lost that
yeah,
$12 rent.
$12. We did.
But that's how I adopted this whole business mindset.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Her role, like I said, they don't allow me in the kitchen.
No.
You know, somebody said, well, I bought a new stove maybe 3 years ago, and they said, turn it on. I'm
Two.
like, fuck.
Yeah,
How you
don't
do
come in my
that?
kitchen.
And
Don't
I
come in my
was
kitchen.
clicking some shit and I'm like, it's not coming on.
Because can't nobody cook like me, and it's
But
not gonna
those
taste like
are
how I was taught it's supposed to taste. I don't want you
You know,
in
I
my
know it's
kitchen.
not gonna taste like mine, but just try.
You
Let
gonna-
me just see that
We gonna,
attempt.
we gonna go there? Are we gonna go there?
We can't.
So, all right, I'm gonna do it.
He can't.
So,
put water.
I got two examples, right?
Mhm.
We live in the middle of the road. Her birthday either falls right before, right after, or even on Mother's Day, right? So
Good.
that weekend, did it up. Blueberry pancakes,
Okay.
you know, turkey, bacon, eggs, everything. The kids, I had the kids rubbing her feet while we had a breakfast laying on the couch, like we took it up, we took care of it, right? That was good. Fast forward to a couple years ago, I think I made an omelet or something. She was doing somebody, I think she was doing one of the kids' hair in the kitchen, right? So I made my omelet, made her one. That joint was in the oven for 2 days. I was like, I'm never cooking again.
Oh no.
Ever.
I don't eat anybody's eggs.
Yeah, well,
Because
that's
people
fine.
dry eggs out. I don't eat people's eggs.
And I'm never
You
cooking
just
again.
turned into anybody anybody say.
And I'm never
Well, the thing
cooking
is, he's not the
again.
cooker of the family, like you said.
Right.
So,
I
but
tried.
he tried. It was
And
nice
it's
to
a
try
wrap.
again. Maybe
No, I'm
it's
good.
not eggs that you can do.
Right.
You may can do something
You can do
else.
something else. I'm
Yeah,
tell you
I'm
something.
good.
This man can make a goddamn cheesesteak. Oh my god, to make you want to fight your mama. And he can make some spaghetti better than me. His spaghetti tastes just like my grandmother. I said, wait a minute,
See?
I've never been
So,
able to do that.
I'm good.
You're the cook, but if there's something he can do, he won't exploit
Yeah,
that.
I'm good.
And he won't make it for me again. I done bought the stuff and everything. Everything he put in there, I said, oh, I know what you. My taste buds. I'm a fat girl. I like to eat, and I'm a foodie. Yeah, so I'm like, oh, this is it's a regular. This is that. Da.
My beautiful wife made some nice wraps.
Okay.
So we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna
I know
feed
that's
y'all.
right. Let's go.
Look, I appreciate y'all coming through. I'm gonna send y'all the info. So
I
we
got
got,
something to say.
Yeah.
so we have our date night with the groups next Saturday. right
Okay.
here, 6 o'clock.
We're finna
I'll
be
send
here.
y'all the info if y'all available. Definitely let us know.
Oh, we finna be
So
here.
what she does is, I know she got something for y'all, right?
We finna be here.
We got something for you guys tonight. And if you guys are able to come to date night, my beautiful wife put together something for our guests for date night as well.
Oh, okay.
And
Oh, that's cute.
Thank you.
Let's see.
no matter
Oh, I
what.
like this bag.
Yeah, she-
Okay.
Yeah, that's cool. It's,
Oh, I like
appreciate,
this
just
bag. You know what?
appreciate you guys
This
for,
bag will be my own when I go to the store.
Right.
appreciate you
It's a nice little
guys
shop.
for rocking with us, man.
Go to like little
Give us our first
market.
one.
Get my, I like sushi.
We
My
gonna feed
Phillips
y'all.
bag.
And,
Nice.
no, it's good.
You look like a
We
good
gonna
bag.
keep this going.
I do.
So we locked in.
Right.
You know?
Okay. Oh,
We
already.
We locked in. You
Already.
know.
Already, baby.
I appreciate
Already.
you, bro.
Thank
No
y'all
problem.
so much.
All right. It's a pleasure meeting you.
I'm better at
Let's eat.
so y'all can see.